Hey guys, it's Angela. In today's video, I've gone ahead and I've made a collection of dramas that I think are perfect for this cozy winter. And when I say cozy, I mean cozy. Like, I'm not just saying that they just so happen to take place in winter. No, they need to be giving that cozy vibe, that turn on the fireplace while you sip on some hot cocoa, that kind of cozy vibe, okay? And my goal is to find every single one of you guys at least one cozy drama to watch this winter. So I've got all sorts of different types of dramas on here. I've got J-dramas, I've got C-dramas, K-dramas, I've got more melancholic type of dramas, I've got more fast-paced dramas, I have slow-paced dramas, I have bubbly dramas, I have serious dramas. Like, whichever one you're looking for, I've got it for you in this video. So if you don't find the drama that you're looking for in one of the first one or two, make sure you stick through to the end of the video because I don't want you to miss out on a drama that you could be watching this cozy winter. Did you want to miss out on that drama? I didn't think so. And on top of this, I am going to be putting some trailers in the description wherever it fits best, because if you've been here, you know that YouTube's been on my butt for copyright strike. So if you hear something that you're interested in and you're just like, I want to see more of that, go ahead and check out the description so you can see the trailer for the drama. And with that being said, you already read the title, so let's just get right into the video, shall we? Up first, we have soundtrack number 1. This is a shorter K-drama. It only has like 4 episodes, and it stars the female lead, who is Han So-yi, and the male lead, who is Park Hyun-sik. It tells the story of two people who have been best friends since they were children. They know each other's romantic history, all that stuff. They've been through thick and thin. There's like no secrets between them whatsoever, and they genuinely just care about each other. And they actually care about each other's ventures because they're both doing like their own separate things, and each of them like supports the other. But when they're put into a situation where they actually have to live together for 2 weeks, they end up realizing that their relationship isn't as straightforward as it seems. The male lead is a photographer and the female lead is an inspiring lyricist. So I feel like that kind of adds to the poetic kind of vibe that's going on in this drama, because they're just both in like artistic fields. And I think that really ties well into the story because of the way that the story is told. It's nice and short, so the story doesn't feel dragged out, and all of it takes place in the winter, so it just has that winter vibe going on. And since they kind of talk about family and relationship dynamics throughout the whole story, it does kind of bring that cozy vibe into the drama. If you're looking for a friends to lovers drama that's very honest and kind of avoids those frustrating miscommunications and all that stuff, I think that this is the drama for you. Especially because there weren't any stressful external circumstances that kind of took away from the drama and the cozy vibe that it was bringing. Because sometimes there's like other dramas where it's like you think it's a good drama, but then there's too much family business going on, so now it's like you came in here trying to have a good time, but now you're just stressed out because all the family members are just doing too much. This isn't like that because all the characters are just like more realistic and kind of like act more rationally. So if that sounds appealing for you, go ahead and check out soundtrack number 1. Moving on, we have First Love Hatsukoshi. Hatsukoshi? I think that's how you say it. I'm sure you could tell this is a J-drama. It tells the story of two high school sweethearts who 20 years later have now been separated for almost 2 decades. And if you do the math, 20 years later, separated for 2 decades, yeah, they haven't really been with each other for a while now. It tells the story of how those two different main characters have been living their lives in those past 2 decades, and they're both the main characters, but the story kind of really takes place through the female lead's perspective because she's the primary main character in this story. So even though you get both sides, most of the things that you're going to be seeing are going to be from her life. As many J-dramas do, it follows that layout where it's like the story is set in the present tense, but it's telling a story about the past. So it just kind of jumps between the present tense and the past, and the present tense and the past, while it's like slowly revealing more and more information that lets you like put all the story together that you otherwise wouldn't have been able to from the beginning because they hadn't revealed it to you yet. One thing I've always loved about J-dramas, no matter how much crap I talk, is that they can tell one good poetic and melancholic story. Like even in that video where I was dragging J-dramas, even in that video I was talking about how they make the most beautiful yet saddest things I've ever watched in my entire life. Because the cinematography is so good. The way they tell stories is so good. Like, it's just so juicy. That's why I get angry when they ruin it with a bad plot. But that's neither here nor there because this is not a bad plot. This J-drama tells a very realistic story about how a person's life can be drastically changed just through one event. And it also kind of tells the story of how your life continues even after your stable part of your life. Because I feel like a lot of stories, they kind of start like, oh, you're a kid and then you become a teenager, and then from teenagerhood you kind of transition into adulthood. And then after that, it's your happily ever after because now you're an adult and you're in the stable part of life. But sometimes the story isn't told like that, and I feel like this story is really nice because it captures the fact that like life can still change heavily when you're in your stable part of your life compared to like your formative years prior to once you become an adult. I would say that this drama is more for people who have an open mind and they can understand when their characters aren't 100% in the correct 100% of the time, and they can still enjoy drama even when their characters aren't perfect and they don't align with what they consider their standard morality. I think it's a really beautiful story, and the way that it's told makes it even better. Like, this is a story where like the cinematography kind of tells the story for you. Like, if somebody else were given this story, it wouldn't be as impactful as how I feel the story was if they couldn't capture all the emotions that whoever directed this was able to capture it. I think it was done and shot really beautifully. I will say that for the most part, it is family friendly, but then all of a sudden they randomly throw in these really explicit, intimate scenes in there. I think it happens around like 3 times in the drama. I want to say you can kind of feel it coming up, but like I don't think so at the same time. So if you're the type of person who doesn't really like seeing those intimate scenes on screen, I would say, actually I wouldn't say skip the drama, but I would just say skip the scenes, because that's what I end up doing. Trust me, I love a little kissy, but I'm not trying to see ass in my face bouncing up and down. There's lines and you're crossing it. So I would just say, like, keep that in mind if you're the type of person who doesn't like to see those more intimate scenes, that they are in there and you would have to skip them. I'm trying to advocate for this drama so much because it definitely does give that cozy vibe, but it's definitely not a lighthearted cozy vibe. It's the type that makes you think. It makes you like think about your life and like your past and like just kind of think about how these characters are moving and acting. So if you're looking for something that's just more depressing, that's the best way I could say it, even though like, yeah, it's depressing. It's depressing. If you're looking for like a more sad vibe, but it's still like a beautiful story, I recommend this drama. Up next, we have Amidst, a Snowstorm of Love. This is a C-drama, and to kind of balance things out, this is much more lighthearted than the drama that I just talked about. It's 30 episodes long, and it tells a story about 2 professional billiard players. I never looked that word billiard up, so I hope that I'm saying it right. It better not be one of those situations where it's like there's 2 L's and therefore it sounds like a Y, and it's actually pronounced billiard or something like that, or like it actually originated in France, so it's pronounced billiard. Like, so sorry about it, we're calling it billiard. So they're 2 professional billiard players, and if you don't know what billiards are, it's basically like pool. So like, you know, pool. Yeah. And a little bit off topic, well, not off topic at all, perfectly on topic, guys. I'm the type of person where it's like, if I'm watching something, I want to do whatever they're doing. If I'm watching a drama about lawyers, I'm taking the bar exam next year. If I'm watching a drama about chefs, bitch, I'm in that kitchen. So when I saw this drama about these 2 professional billiard players, I was so passionate about this shit that I want to go and learn how to play pool. I even went as far as to go to my school's community tab and be like, hey, do any of you guys know how to play pool? I would love to learn. If you guys are looking for somebody to play pool with, like, I would love to. And I even found somebody who was just like, yeah, I would love to do that. We went to go exchange contact information. Like, I just gave him my Insta, and then he never responded again. So I don't know if he like looked me up and he just didn't like what he was seeing, but it's like, it wasn't even like that. Like, I wanted to go play pool. So like, if you just want to call me an ugly bitch, that's fine, but like, can you teach me how to play pool? Anyways, I had to just settle for 8Ball, the app on my phone, and I was addicted to that for about like 3 months before I moved on. Anyways, these 2 billiards end up meeting amidst a snowstorm, and they end up falling in love at first sight. Well, I can't really say they. It was more shown like he fell in love at first sight. Let's just say the male lead fell in love at first sight. The only problem with this male lead is that he's not like the most socially like adept. It's like, to him, what he's doing makes him think that he's being very obvious in his approaches, but it doesn't come off that way to everybody else because it just kind of sounds like he's being nice. For instance, he'll be like, I'll go out and take you out to go eat, but like, it'll be like, I'll take you and your brother out to go eat. He's just kind of socially awkward and can't seem to get the message he's intending to send over to the other person properly. This isn't just about their romance though. What's heavily integrated into the story is their entire careers as billiard players in general. And Wang Xingye also makes some appearances in this drama pretty frequently. So if you're looking for some nice eye candy while you're watching, like, there you go. Anyways, if you're looking for a drama where the guy is pursuing the girl, I'm telling you, this is definitely the drama for you. It gives a very cozy winter vibe, and it almost makes me forget my hatred for the winter season. I like the idea of winter. I hate the execution of winter. I will say though that their romantic story is pretty straightforward, while their story about their careers is much more this. So if you're the type of person who loses interest in your dramas after the leads get together, this is not the drama for you. I'm telling you that right now. Most of where the conflict comes from is from their careers, not their romance. I also want to say that this isn't the type of drama I would personally binge. It's the type of drama that you come down to and you sit and you watch 2 episodes every single night while you have hot cocoa in your hands and you just kind of have that cozy vibe. And it's just because it's a more slow-paced drama. Like, I don't know, if you guys can binge slow-paced dramas, like, I need the attention span that you got, because I definitely cannot. But if you can watch it pretty slowly, it's just a nice, lighthearted, cute drama. So if you're looking for a drama where it's about somebody's careers and love at the same time, this is the drama for you. Up next, we have the drama Road Home. And again, we have some childhood sweethearts that were separated, but this isn't as angsty as that other drama I was talking about. This is much more like calm in nature. Just overall less intense. It's 30 episodes long, and it just kind of tells a story about how 2 people end up finding each other again in their adulthood when their younger selves' romance wasn't able to flourish properly. And they're able to actually make their relationship work out despite the fact that it seems like all these external factors are making it harder for them. This is another drama where the male lead is so obviously in love with the female lead, and he's not doing that little hard to get back back and forth stuff. Like, no, he's not doing that. But I would say that this male lead is even more quiet than the other male lead I just talked about, which you would think that it's like weird, how does he do that? But it's just like he doesn't really express with his voice or his face. Even though the other guy also can't talk well, like he was like showed on his face. This guy, like, he barely even shows it on his face. He has a more mature, manly type of air to him, like a Doberman type of air to him, like that silent protector type of air to him. I know a lot of you guys perked up when you heard that. I know. And the female lead is pretty mellow, but you can just kind of tell that they both obviously really care about each other and obviously still have feelings for each other, no matter how they try to make it seem. They're always just doing things for each other throughout the entire drama until they eventually, you know, get together. So if that's what you like to see from your main characters, this is the drama for you. And on top of this, I will say they have a very, very healthy relationship. But on top of this, something that you're gonna find that's pretty apparent throughout this video is that a lot of these dramas are kind of slow paced, both in its nature and their storytelling. So just keep that in mind. I do have some more fast paced dramas towards the end, but my idea of cozy is kind of more slow. So I did save them for the end because I was like, just in case they wanted something more action packed. If you're looking for something more fast paced, you know where to go. Up next we have When the Weather is Fine. And I know I've been talking about how, oh, this drama's kind of slow paced and this drama's kind of slow paced. Y'all, if you don't have time to just sit down and watch this drama, I'm telling you right here, right now, that this drama is not for you. It literally feels like you're just watching people's everyday lives, and it's because of that that you end up being so integrated in the story that's being told. It's a standard 16-episode K-drama. It tells the story of a cellist who's been in Seoul, and she's been living in Seoul for a while, but she ends up exhausting herself out to the point where she just wants to take a break and go back to her hometown, which is a small little village in like the countryside or something like that. And so when she goes back to her hometown to wind down, that she ends up running into a guy that she knew when she was younger. They knew of each other, but it seems like he knew more of her than she knew of him, and they were never really close. But she ends up running into him, and that's when they end up becoming closer than they were when they were children. And the male lead is the owner of a bookstore in their village. While this is the story, I like to say that this story is basically a cover-up for the actual story that's being told in this drama. I don't want to say too much about it because I feel like it's going to take away from the experience of watching this drama. But what I will say is that I'm so happy that I watched this drama when I was bored out of my mind and had nothing else to watch. Because otherwise, I promise you, I wouldn't have finished this drama. Because I am definitely a skip all the time, anytime, any chance type of person. But because I was so bored, I didn't skip at all. And I was just like, I'm just going to watch this drama. I'm just going to sit down and absorb this drama. And I'm so glad that I did, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to experience this drama the way that I did because of its slow pacing. So if you're the type of person who can't watch a drama without skipping, or you just get super bored really easily, I'm telling you that this isn't the drama for you. But if you are the type of person who knows that they can just kind of sit down and watch a slow paced drama, I'm telling you this is the drama for you, because it's a very beautiful story about healing and so many different people's lives, and how like you need to be able to let go of your past in order to give yourself hope for the future, even if you yourself feel like you're not deserving of a future. It's a very beautiful healing story. If you guys like healing stories and overall self-exploration, I would say that this is the drama for you. Up next we have What Comes After Love. This is like a K-drama and a J-drama that's been merged together in what's my opinion to be like the best way possible. It's 6 episodes long, and it tells a story about a female lead who ended up going to go study abroad in Japan, and while she just so happens to be there, she ends up falling in love with a man who ends up acting as the male lead for this story. However, due to their different perspectives on life, their love wasn't really enough, and they ended up breaking up. They end up meeting again 5 years later in Korea, but not only are their circumstances now different, they themselves as people are different, to the point where it's like they're almost unrecognizable from their past selves. Y'all, this drama is so beautiful, and I don't think y'all know how passionately I feel about this drama. In fact, I was so passionate about this drama that when I went to go look up this drama to see how other people were talking about it, I was angry to see that it wasn't as rated as highly as I wanted it to be. I think it has like an 8.1 on my drama list, but I disagree. I feel like it should be like an 8.5. Come on guys, come on. The cinematography is beautiful. The color scheming is beautiful. The storytelling is beautiful. I love it. I love it all. I'm not even gonna try to hide my bias towards this. One of the main things about this drama is that the female lead speaks Japanese, but the male lead does not speak Korean. So the only way that they're able to communicate with each other is through Japanese. It kind of reminds me of this one scene in this one American show called Modern Family, and it's when one of the characters ends up confronting somebody else, and she says, "Do you even know how smart I am in Spanish?" Because she says it in English, even though Spanish is her first language. And I'm not comparing that to this story in the sense of like somebody was looking down on somebody else, and therefore in frustration they ended up saying something. No, but it's just overall the idea that like you can't truly communicate to somebody in a language that you feel like is not a part of you as an individual. I actually ended up crying because of this overall dynamic that I've been talking about, because this is like the first part where I've like cried because I felt like frustrated or like stuffy, because like there are certain moments and certain scenes where it's like I could just feel the frustration, and I could just understand where it was coming from, but like none of the characters could like properly communicate what they were saying because they can't communicate. And I'm not saying that they can't communicate, but they can't communicate. And it's just like, honestly, to neither fault of either of them that they can't properly communicate in a common language that they both have the same emotional ties to. All of the characters were realistic and make realistic mistakes, but it's also because of this realism between the characters that it makes you want to forgive them for what they've done. But at the same time, since the other party is also a realistic character and has gone through realistic experiences, it's not just one-sided where it's just like, oh, this character is so realistic. Like, I completely understand what you're saying. I don't know what they're going on about. Since they both have their reasons and they both have their different mindsets towards why they did the things that they did, both of them feel so valid for doing the things that they did and the way that they act. So it's like you want to forgive them, but at the same time you understand why you can't be forgiven. And then it's just like you want to be mad at them, but at the same time it's like, I can't be mad at you because you're so valid for what you did. So it's just one of those situations that you just have to respect whatever decision is made in the show. Honestly, of all the dramas that I've been talking about for this main part of the list, not the later part of the list, for this main part of the list with the more slow dramas, this is definitely my favorite. Just because like if a drama is going to be slow, I need you to be slow properly. I need you to be slow and poetic. And I feel like if you're gonna go that slow route, then you have to make it emotional as well. And this story does a really good job of doing that through the shots, through the way that they speak, through all the way that the characters act. It's a great drama. Up next we have Something in the Rain. I feel like I have to mention this because I'm not gonna lie, it does have every single aspect that it needs to be a cozy, melodramatic drama. In fact, it even has the male lead being Jung Hae-in. Do I need to say more? However, this drama will not have you unwinding and being cozy with a hot cup of cocoa. Whatever I was insinuating earlier to say that this would be a proper situation to have a nice cozy time for the cozy winter, I was lying. This is not the situation for that. And that's because there's a specific character in this drama that will make you so frustrated that you realize that you just have to appreciate life for how you have it right now, because in another circumstance, you could be living in this world. That one specific character just makes it a stressful watch, which is the reason why I feel like overall the drama has a bad rep, but it's so sad because the story is actually really good and it's really cute and it's really moving and it's very melodramatic. It tells the story of a female lead who's not only going through a really bad breakup, but she's also going through career losses. So she's honestly going through it when all of a sudden a familiar face ends up coming back into her life. And it's familiar not in the sense that they were close, but close to someone she was close with. It is the male lead who is the younger brother of her best friend. It touches on subjects like family issues and overall family expectations, work problems, performing for other people instead of performing for yourself, and overall women's struggles in general. And I don't know, the story feels very slow paced, but like once you're actually watching it, I feel like so many things are happening all at once. So it doesn't give me that kind of slow vibe because I feel like I actually feel immersed in the story because so many things are happening, but nothing is happening at the same time. I don't know. If you watch it, you'll know what I'm talking about. I recommend this drama to people who want a warm and cozy vibe, which is why you clicked on this video, but also at the same time, they kind of want it to be more in depth and want to talk about more serious issues. If you're looking for that kind of vibe where it's more focused on actual realistic issues rather than just like pushing a fairy tale romance, I do recommend this for you. I don't think it's a family dynamic that none of us have seen before, but I do think that the way that they actually talked about the dynamic rather than just saying it and instead showing it really does a really good job at kind of capturing that experience to the point where it actually makes you feel frustrated even though it's not your situation. I have an honorable mention in here and it's called A Piece of Your Mind. The only reason why it's an honorable mention is because I honestly can't really remember much about the drama, and I'm only telling you guys about dramas that I remember and watched. But the thing is, like, I don't remember much about the drama, but I remember liking the drama and I remember a specific segment of the drama as well, and I overall remember that I really liked the drama. I wanted to put it in here because it does capture all the cozy vibes, and the male lead is literally Jung Hae-in, which we just talked about. Like, if he's in the drama, like, wrap it up, it's a melodrama. Automatically, I don't make the rules. I just can't speak about it in the way that I spoke about all the other dramas because I can't remember it very well. But it was a good drama. Well, how good could it possibly be if you forgot everything about it? Don't worry about it, okay? Just trust me. It was good. It was good. What I do remember though, that it was much more of a healing drama than a slow burn drama. Like, I'm pretty sure both of the characters have their things that they're going through and like they come together in order to work on that and grow as people. So if that's the type of story that you like, I do recommend it for you. Moving on to the more fast-paced winter dramas. The reason why I just kind of put this into another segment that I'm just gonna like touch on really quickly is because in my mind, warm, cozy dramas have to be more slow paced and like fluffy, whether that's fluffy in a positive sense or fluffy in an absolutely depressing sense, and just overall more poetic if I want to go all philosophical here. That is what my mind thinks of when I think of as cozy. But I do understand that for other people, cozy, that doesn't really fit the vibe for them. For them, cozy just means winter. So if that's the kind of cozy vibe that you're looking for and you just can't deal with slow dramas, I made this segment specifically for you, bestie. Why? Because I'm always looking out for you, bestie. Look, the lighting just got like 10 times better. That's how you know I'm looking out for you guys. Like, I tell the truth. I do. So these are basically like good dramas that just so happen to take place in winter. I will say though, I think most of these are C dramas. First of all is The Cunning Palace. If you've been here, if you know me, You should have been known that this is gonna be on the list. I never stopped talking about the Kunning Palace. I finally reached 2 years since I watched the Kunning Palace the first time, so I went ahead and I watched it again. And tell me why I liked it even more this time. What? Story of Kunning Palace follows two morally gray main characters, and it tells a story through the female lead's lens for the most part. She ended up having a really villainous first life, ends up passing away, comes back in time to before she did most of the stuff that she did. Because of that, now she has a second chance at life. I will say that she's not very villainous anymore because obviously she's coming back to correct her wrongs, but because she has stepped those boundaries in the past before, her boundaries for her morals are definitely pushed more towards morally questionable, which I do like in certain circumstances, because sometimes like you just gotta cut some people off. So if you're looking for a fast-paced drama that takes place in the winter and has two morally questionable main characters, I would say that Story of Kunning Palace is for you. Up next we have The Devil. This drama went so crazy famous when it came out that like I'll be surprised if you don't know about it. But this is also a reincarnation story. It's not really a reincarnation story. I believe it's different from the novel where she actually reincarnated. But in the actual drama adaptation of it, she just was able to fake her death and she was able to come back and live as another person, and she's trying to get revenge on the person who ended up killing her in her first life. So she ends up coming back in order to enact revenge, and it's during that she ends up meeting with the male lead, who is also very powerful but very serious and normally doesn't take anybody as extra helpers or extra people a part of his plan, but he takes a liking to the female lead because she's just that bitch. So if that's a drama that you're looking for, oh my gosh, I can't believe I almost forgot one of the best villains I've ever seen in my entire life. So if you actually want a plot where there's actual depth into it and the story is actually good and the characters are actually good and the characters actually have reasonings for doing the things that they do and it's not just some bullshit answer like I want power, I want money, this is the drama for you. Up next we have Alchemy of Souls. This is a fantasy drama. I specifically put this in there because I was just like, okay, what if they want something different? So I went ahead and I put this in there because it's a fantasy drama that takes place in like the olden times and it's a K-drama. I will say though, I can really only vouch for the first season being really good. The second season wasn't bad, but it just didn't speak to me or intrigue me the same way that the first season did. So if you're looking for a fantasy drama that takes place in the winter and you want to see characters that actually end up showing growth and change from the beginning of the drama to the end of the drama, I recommend Alchemy of Souls for you. Up next we have Moon Lover, Scarlet Heart, Ryeo. I can't believe I'm saying this now. This is an older drama now because I'm not gonna lie, yeah, it did come out like 10 years ago. So this is an older drama, but it is the angsty drama. Anybody who's watched this drama will have horror flashbacks when you bring it up because they're like traumatized. It's a really good drama though. It's a really good drama. It's just really angsty, so you have been warned. If you want a good traveling to the past drama, because this does follow a female lead who goes to the past and ends up living in historical Korea and has to deal with like royal politics and all that stuff, I will say that this is a good drama for you. I know I didn't really go that much in depth about these dramas towards the end, but that's just because they're just not really the subject that I was thinking of when I think of cozy dramas like I was talking about before. But they are just good dramas that I recommend that take place in the winter. And I wouldn't recommend you guys dramas that I think are bad. So I just wanted to throw in some more fast-paced, more like action type of dramas that take place in the winter for people who are looking for good winter dramas to watch. But they don't fit the cozy vibe. I'm gonna just say they don't fit the cozy vibe. So if you clicked in this video, which I titled like cozy dramas to watch this winter, and you were expecting to see the dramas that I just started mentioning towards the end, there's some disparity going on here. There's a gap that I think needs to be fixed because that's not what cozy means and you know it.